Scene 1, the crime. Good night, which put the candle out, a jealous cipher, not a doubt. Emily Dickinson.
You're late. You're always late. From Isaac Morrow, attorney at law, to Artemis Ward, publisher, Ward Books. Dear Art, please note that I am not writing to you regarding our little debate over the fifth. But am, rather, consulting over the matter of your publishing, quote, empire, unquote. Ha ha. I hate when I say ha ha in official documents. It's cold, always cold. Idiots! Now it's all blurry and wet. It's bad enough being alone. Being alone while being washed is unbearable. If you wait for my suggestion, avoid the Caesar salad. Just as you're going on to killing you. The waitress sneaks up to you, stabs you in the back. At least a spare from dessert. Can't someone do something to all those people staring at me? Well, that's something, I suppose. So, finally here? Well, I got a few words to say to you.
Uncle! Uncle Artemis! Oh my God, are you alright? I said, are you alright? Help! Help! Somebody please help! How shameful to die in your spaghetti. What a way to be discovered. What would Mother say?
Artemis, I hate to intrude, but we have to finish start. Is he dead?
No. His chiropractor said a good knife in the back would do wonders for straightening out his spine. Of course he's dead. Be a good little lawyer, Mr. Morrow. Go get some help. She died. That's what she would do. She just died.
There's a dead man in my restaurant! Oh, there's a man sitting dead at one of my tables. There's a... Oh, thank God. He's been stabbed. I was so afraid it was the clam dip.
Found Alexis and Reginald upstairs.
I thought I asked you to find help.
Daddy! Oh, Daddy! Oh, Reginald, look what they've done to Daddy! How many times these slow feet staggered? Only the soldered mouth can tell. Try. Can you stir over my head? Try. Can you lift the hospital steel?
She's very fond of Emily Dickinson. Wax him a feather, you know. Bernie! Cousin Bernie from the wrong side of the tracks. What brings you up from under your rock?
And what puts you here so conveniently here at this hour, Cousin Reggie? Run out of widows and orphans to cheat?
Don't you just love a family reunion?
And we're all doing so wonderfully. Dad's been better.
How can you speak so quaintly when a man has just died?
Post prime of life.
I never lost as much but twice. He was generous to have felt such an anthropologist.
No, dear.
Ornithologist?
Ah, yes, ornithology. The study of Bernie's brain.
You mean philanthropist, dear.
Oh no, he was quite the family man. He's in a better world now.
As the good book says, where, O death, is your victory? Where, O death, is your sting?
Right here. A big one.
Maybe he's not dead. Maybe he's just wounded.
Ah, the innocence and optimism of a lost mind.
You're being ridiculous, Alexis. How could Uncle Artemis still be alive?
Men survive incredible things.
She's right. We can't know for sure if there isn't anyone here to check his pupils for dilation and take his pulse and blood pressure. Why, Mr. Wood can be slowly bleeding to death, even as we bicker.
All right. Is there a doctor in the house?
We don't need a doctor. We need a coroner.
With all this going on in my restaurant, I'm about to have one.
All right. Is there a coronary in the house?
Oh, I'm a coroner.
Okay, cool.
Oh, this is convenient.
Dr. Tony M.D. Bolfinger, pathologist, neurologist, M.D., D.M.D., D.M.Z., recently correct coroner, ran unopposed at your service. My card.
And mine. I'm Isaac Morrow. I represent Artemis and will handle his estate.
Is he dead, Dr. Bullfinger?
As Mr. Morrow was saying, it takes careful iteration to determine if a body is dead. Yep, he's dead.
So what we have here is a murder.
What we have here is a corpse, not necessarily a murder. There are many reasons for dead bodies. Could have been an act of God.
Knives don't seem to be the Almighty's M.O.
Well, I know it wasn't the clan did.
About suicide. People do stab themselves.
In the back?
That a murder was obvious.
I will be the judge of that. I am the winner of the Elect a Coroner competition. That it was a murder is obvious. Surprised none of you saw that. Yes, murdered, my friends. Murdered by someone in this very building. Murdered by someone standing here right now.
Here? A murder? Here? Among us?
So,
What gives you that notion?
well, no one has left the building since the murder. No stranger would do it. They would lack motive. And sure, we could just call the police and wait for hours or days for them to solve it. Why not solve it while we're here ourselves and we could just call them in?
Yeah, you're right. We all have better things to do. We don't want to be questioned by the police.
After all, there are 4 intelligent people here to solve it.
6. You forgot me and Jeannie.
Oh, no, I didn't.
This will be just like an Agatha Christie novel.
And then there were none. By the end of the night, we'll all be dead.
Dead.
I said that.
No, you said dad.
Well,
So I'll be putting quite a feather on it, but I believe I can't help with this. I'll even call in a friend I have in the newspaper acquisitions department. So why don't you give me all the information myself? Tell me something. Give me clues.
Allow me. This is Reginald Ward, son of the late Artemis Ward, a lowly salesman in this company. But heir, I might note to the Woodbooks empire.
She's in there too.
Ah yes, Alexis Ward, Regent, Middlefield, Abernathy Gillicuddy Boskowitz. Former wife of Edward Regent, boat builder, Francisco Middlefield, farming magnate, James Abernathy, New York banker, Armand Gillicuddy, wealthy financer, and Sluggo Boskowitz, plumber. She's her father's acquisitions editor.
Such a many acquisitions and divorces. Such a young lady.
Good many funerals, actually.
And every one of them dropped dead at the dinner table.
Was a really good cook.
Bernie Jones is destitute, niece of Artemis Ward, barely holding her job in the company's mailroom.
and totally out of Uncle's will. I might know.
And, of course, Jeannie Dell. She is the owner of the restaurant, of the business at least. She has a hard time following through on things, like preparing banquets that already been scheduled. As a result, she hasn't been making the bills lately, and Mr. Ward built the building for a song and a tax sale.
He saved my little restaurant from ruin.
I, of course, am Isaac Morrow. I represent Artemis, his children, and Word Books. My card.
And mine. Thank you all, that. Now we can truly begin. But first you must remember the 3 cardinal rules of the crime scene. First of all, do not touch anything. Second of all, don't touch anything. Third of all, don't touch anything! Take this glass, for instance. There could be fingerprints dotted around the rim, the base, the stem, and the little wine could have some bits of DNA from sputum floating around from the killer's congratulatory sip.
It could even be full of poison. Oh. Ew. Sputum.
All right, let's all group up. Bernie and Jeannie, you two stick together. You're of like minds. Alexis and Reginald, you two will be together. There's just something magical about a sibling bond.
I know you did it, Reginald. I don't know how or why, but I know you hate me and everyone else in this family. You've killed Daddy and you'll help me commit it so the business can be all yours, won't you? But even if you're not found out, I'll stop you. I'll use my nails to dig out your eyes. Then the only killing you'll do is by beating someone with a long white stick.
Then again, maybe you should be with Isaac. Reginald, once my friend gets here, you will be paired with them.
All right. And what will you be doing all by yourself, Dr. Bullfinger?
Well, I'll be doing an autopsy, of course, in the kitchen.
My kitchen!
Tell your customers to avoid the finger sandwiches.
I got everything I need in my coroner's kit here. Scalpels, forceps, toe tags, wrenches. I got everything. Oh, yes. Perfect.
But how will you get the results in time?
They're the wonders of literary license, my dear. You two, come help me with the body. The game is afoot. Let's go.
He's got waves. What it is, 20th? That was a job well done. Bloody diddle it.
Oh, Daddy, dear Daddy. Death is like an insect, menacing the tree, competent to kill it, but decoy may be. Bait it with balsam, seek it with a knife, baffle if it costs you everything in your life. Then, if it have burrowed, out of reach, out of skill, ring the tree, 'tis the vermin's will.
Scene 2, clues and motives. 2 starving men cannot be twice as hungry as one, but 2 rascals can be 10 times as vicious as one. George Bernard Shaw.
So, you're the ace reporter Dr. Bullfinger was all excited about, huh? I'm Reginald Ward, son of the late, oh how we'll miss him, Artemis Ward. And you are?
What's your name, please?
My name is Trevor.
How do you spell that?
T-R-O-V-O-R.
Can never be sure. I once interviewed a woman from South Dakota who swore her name was spelled S-I-O-U-X. Where were you when the murder took place?
I was just right here.
Right in the same room?
Yeah?
Did you see anything?
No, I was just blind as a bat.
Yeah, likely story. I think you're lying to me.
How would he be lying? He was in the dark.
Yeah, but he could at least heard where the person went. Or I could at least seen the figure of the person.
Yeah, right. I can see why Dr. Bullfinger likes you. Did you vote for them?
I observe the process, Reginald. I don't take part. In other words, I don't vote.
Right. And your name was?
You, sir, what were you doing during the time of the murder?
He was sitting in the dark like everyone else.
Just sitting there as a man was murdered? Right in front of you? Doing nothing to help? Nobody wants to get involved. That's the problem with America today.
Yeah, listen, well, we'll never get this thing solved if we don't talk. This is, Miss... And we'll never talk if I don't know your name.
Major,
Major?
my name?
First or last?
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, please?
Yes, it's your first name, or yes, it's your last?
Yes, it's my first name. And yes, it's my last.
Your name is Major... Major?
And my middle name is Major, if you must know.
Major, Major, Major? Man, that's good.
Oh, for crying out loud. Is this so terrible?
Yeah.
My father was a great authoritarian who was easily influenced by whatever he was reading. Here I buried my heart in Wounded Knee and moved to an Indian reservation. Then gone with the wind and moved to a southern plantation. And suddenly, all of our clothes are being made out of currants. It's just my misfortune that a week before I was born, he picked up a copy of Catch-22 and named me after his favorite character.
Well, at least you weren't named Yossarian.
Shall we get on with a little investigation?
Spoken like a true major. Major? Major? Major?
Who discovered the garden first?
That little weasel who masquerades as a human being, Bernie Jones.
Your cousin from across the tracks?
That's right, how do you know?
The Warbucks Empire is a hobby of mine. It's the largest employer in this stinky town after all, and the eccentric little family that runs it is a regular fodder mill for the press. No one's so bent.
None taken.
I'm sure. Bernie works in the mailroom?
Well, he's employed in the mailroom, but a conniving, sneaking little goof-off-like kid would never work there.
Must be in the gene pool. And you are a salesman?
That's right. Daddy wanted me to work my way up the ladder to see how the other half lives. Even made me collect the salesman's wages. But thanks to this regrettable little incident, those days are past. I'm half owner with my dear little sister Alexis.
How soon before you have her committed?
Well, 3 months tops. And then more books is mine. Okay, that was an underhanded trick. We related somehow?
I'm a relative of the human race, Reginald. You realize you're a prime suspect?
How so?
Look at the clues. You are heir to the business, but as long as the old man's alive, you're stuck in a salesman position, with the salesman salary. A rather low salary, I might add, if one considers your sales records.
I'll let you know my commission income last year topped 6 figures.
Rather singular, considering your sales barely reached 4. What's a commission these days? 2,000%.
My sales are much higher than that, you little worm. Check the books.
I did. And then an independent audit my publisher sponsored revealed the true figures. Are you familiar with the term embezzlement?
Oh, look, I deserved every cent. I'm the son of a wealthy magnate. I shouldn't have to work. What a sleazy job. He made Alexis acquisitions editor. The one that buys the manuscripts is a nutcase to her eye teeth. Now, there's a job a man can be proud to do. Imagine deciding which authors you'll make famous and which ones you'll destroy.
You really are a nice guy.
To each his own. But I did not kill my father.
Who's your alibi?
I was with Alexis. Of course, she won't admit it. Still, I can prove I did not do it.
I'm listening.
I didn't do it because I act like I did. Look at me. I'm happy that he's dead. And I can't wait to fire my dweebish little cousin and put my sister away. I've got motive, and I can't prove where I was. Now, how can I be guilty when my guilt is so obvious?
Frame 1. Reginald Ward. Suspect. Seriously, Mrs. Butcher Knife. Grab my comb, won't you, Reginald?
Okay. I still can't believe there's a dead man in my kitchen getting carved like some kind of cow. What would Mother say? What would the health inspector say?
Oh, Uncle!
Oh, Bernie.
Oh, Jeannie. Did you do it?
No. Did you?
No.
crime exactly as the others would and see where the clues lead.
You discovered the body, didn't you?
Yes, right after the blackout, Isaac came down.
And then I came down and started screaming.
You have a lovely scream. After that, Alexis and Reginald were there.
Dr. Bullfinger was already there.
They were there when they were there when the crime took place, in fact.
At another table. If only they had a motive. How do you spell Bullfinger?
Like this.
Yuck! There's a spider on your napkin!
That scrawl is just my handwriting.
Oh,
The most important clue, of course, is who was Uncle Meany. Tell me, did he make any reservations?
yes. He made reservations for a party of 2. But he never said who.
Party of 2.
Did he say anything to you?
Oh, Uncle didn't speak much to me. He thought I was useless.
Then you weren't in his will.
The only useless people in his will were Reginald and Alexis. Did you have any kind of relationship with him?
I'm not that kind of girl.
No, I mean, was there an official arrangement over buying the manor? Do you owe him any money?
Mr. Ward didn't lend out money. You know that. Although he gave it away because he's a philanderer. And that's what philanderers do. They're supposed to do nice things for people. They're supposed to help nice people out.
Did he help you out?
He told me that he wanted to talk about the future of the manor, so there's no reason to be killing a man who's thinking of saving my business.
And in no sense of me killing a man who won't even give me a cent.
Alexis and Reginald have a motive. How much is the book company worth?
It was doing just so-so, but when Uncle published the bestseller novel, Steamy Nights in Ollie, by some lady named Rose Spaghetti. It was a bestseller, made a bundle. Uncle had to print such a huge quantity of books. He needed to have a warehouse just to store them. Alexis and Reginald stand to make a motive if they don't mess it up.
But would they kill their own father?
Reginald would rob his own mother. And Alexis, why do you think her husbands keep dying at their dinner table?
What about Isaac? Is he a cutthroat?
He's a lawyer, isn't he? But what's the motive? Wait. He said he needed to talk to Uncle about the debate over the 5th.
But the 5th of when?
Or the 5th of what?
And when you sent him for help, why did he bring Alexis and Reginald?
Are they in it together?
Or separately?
Could the culprits be Reginald and Isaac?
Isaac and Alexis?
Reginald and Alexis?
All three?
Or none of them at all? What's that you're writing your notes on?
Just this old letter that I picked up off the floor.
It could be important.
No, it's got wine all over it. Come on, Bernie. Let's go find some more clues.
I reason we could die, the best fertility cannot excel decay. But what of that? I reason that in heaven somehow it will be even, some new equation given. But what of that?
Could we please do without the literary McNuggets? Does Emily Dickinson dictate everything that goes on through your head? Can you find thoughts of your own? You could at least drink from that stupid glass, carrying it around gazing as if it's some crystal ball.
It's my looking glass. It defines me.
It gives me chills. Never mind that. I want to ask you something in the strictest confidence. I'm your lawyer, after all. Did you kill your father?
Daddy! Oh, Daddy! Oh, not me! Not his little girl!
But then again, the examples of people killing including their own, are critical, even biblical. Absalom and Amnon, Cain and Abel. What are the 17 brothers of Avalanche? Herod the Great killed his wife Marianne. But me?
Where were you when the lights went out? When the murder occurred?
I was going to my car, alone.
And before that, you could have been anywhere.
I was in Jeannie's office. I was sitting in a chair just like that. Hey, you're sitting on my chair.
Alexis! I am so sorry, sir. Please excuse her. She's a little unbalanced. Tell a nice man you're sorry, Alexis.
I'm sorry. It won't happen again.
Good girl.
I don't even want it anymore.
Okay, let's try and narrow things down.
Look at you, sitting there. Like a metaphor of life.
One of the people your father was supposed to meet was me.
A bite, a sip, then it's over.
I remember the appointment being made. Ouch.
We resign ourselves, dab our lips, hold the napkin, then get up and walk away.
But then, Jeannie said that an unexpected guest turned up. And as a result, Mr. Ward sent me a bottle of wine as an apology.
Or maybe you don't walk away. Instead, a sliver of a bone catches in your throat and you choke, dying from the rare repast that lies before your eyes.
Alexis!
I'm listening, a bottle of wine.
How odd. Your father was murdered at the exact time, I was supposed to meet him. Why? If I'd been there at that right time, I'd be dead now.
Papa was there at the exact time we were supposed to meet him. And he did die.
What are you suggesting, young lady?
I cannot tell you, but you feel me. Nor can you tell me.
I didn't do it.
You and Daddy were sleeping together.
That's a lie, you little tramp.
You've always met Daddy in his office, but you send your other clients memos. I know. I've called them and asked.
How would you know who my clients are?
You have a junior partner who likes me. We talk.
Is it Tom or Richard? Whoever it is, I'll have his head.
A bird came down the walk. He did not know I saw. He ate an angleworm in half and ate the fellow raw.
Fine. Don't tell me. I'll figure it out on my own. There was nothing going on between your father and I. All we did was talk.
Pretty biblical talk.
How dare you?
When I know you're coming to visit, I like to tape down the intercom button. Then we all sit around and listen. Oh, Artemis! Oh, Artemis! Bad dialogue. Nice inflection.
You betray our privacy like that?
You betrayed my family's sanctity! But he dropped you, didn't he?
Dropped me? As if I'd get dropped by a ward. I dropped him.
Oh, no, you didn't. Bernie intercepted Daddy's dear John to you in the mailroom. The jilted lover is a classic motive.
You know what I think? I think that you killed him, and you're trying to point your bullet little finger at me.
A toad can die of light. Death is the common right. Of Earl and Midge, the privilege. Why swagger then? The not supremacy is large as thine.
Scene 3, the autopsy report. No man can be a pure specialist without being in the strict sense an idiot. George Bernard Shaw.
That reporter accused me of killing Dad.
You did.
You think everyone did.
Well, this has been a most useful first round of clues. Major, you've met with Reginald already, so let me introduce you to the rest of this starring cast. This is... oh yeah, Jeannie Dell, owner of the Manor Restaurant.
A pleasure. Hold this. I never met the rest of you, but I've been acquainted with war books for so long, I almost went intimate acquaintance nonetheless. Dr. Wolfinger and I have read and compared each suspect's notes. It's all very interesting. We learned motives and alibis and picked up some very damaging evidence.
So, who is it?
I watched his face to see which way he took the awful news.
We didn't figure it out. not exactly. In fact, not at all. The only thing we're sure of is
that this room was full of human pond scum.
based on these notes and some early research of my own, it appears the causes of Ward Butts and Mario associates at law positively rattle. You all have a motive to murder Artemis Ward. All but some concise, probing questions on my part, and the pathological brilliance of Dr. Bullfinger here, I think we can successfully narrow this down. Dr. Bullfinger?
Oh yes, everything in the case file right here. Photos, scalpels, things. They were taken with a Polaroid, so they're not the highest quality. What's most interesting is the cause of death. Oh, you will never guess what it was.
Oh, could it have been a knife?
No. The instrument of murder was not, in fact, a knife. The real instrument of murder was this.
The wine? But I just opened it. You can't get botulism in wine, can you?
You can get poison in it. Yeah. Yep. The wine glass was filled with a hefty dose of digitoxin.
Digitoxin?
The dying need a little dear. A glass of water's all.
Can you learn some Dr. Seuss?
What exactly is digitoxin?
Oh yes, digitoxin is a colorless liquid, often used for heart irregularities.
Think of that. Constipated hearts.
On small doses, it can cause feelings of giddiness, then depression. In larger doses, it gets to contractions, constipation, taking L's, and in even fatal doses is ERS. It can see the sudden cardiac arrest.
How big was this dose?
Big enough to drop my mother-in-law on her tracks.
Trust me, that's big.
But wait, if the murderer used poison, why did they also use a knife?
There you go. Every clue raises more questions than answers. We know he was poisoned, but why was he also stabbed? We knew the killer had access to the wine. But if Jeannie's guilty, what's her motive? And with little care, the wine could have been poisoned by anyone. Who did Mr. Ward come to have a meeting with? If it was Isaac, why would he set himself up in a public place?
It's hard to find clues that are answers.
Poor uncle.
As such, if died enabled us.
So we can get the estate settled.
So I can collect my fee.
For justice, for truth.
And most of all, for our careers. I'll be doing an investigation while we all talk still.
Shouldn't you leave that to professional investigators?
Who do you think I am? Once we continue, I know exactly what I'm doing. Go on, continue to talk. Just ignore me, I'll be working.
Are you sure you know how to dust your fingerprints?
Of course I do. Don't call me corner for nothing, pal.
The fox sounds off fox. When Dr. Bullfinger finishes, the murderer will stand exposed.
When Dr. Bullfinger finishes, the murderer will stand ready for Social Security.
Nonetheless, things will go much easier if the murderer will spare us this hassle. Isn't that true? Bernie?
Me?
Yes, you, the young, worthless son of Artemis Ward, equally worthless sister. The family bimbo who dropped out of school to marry a job with the future and IQ of a duck. But when you were born, he abandoned her to become a professional wrestler, didn't he? Artemis did all he could to provide for you, pay for your schooling and secure you a job, but all your mother wanted was an easy buck. Poor Artemis. She begged him for 1,000 here and applied the old guilt for 1,000 there. At last, he had enough of watching her wasted away on lottery tickets and premium cable, didn't he? So he pulled the plug. Then you, too close and lazy to make an honest buck, you, a mama's boy straight out of psycho, slunk in here and stabbed him in the dark, didn't you?
He gave me a job in his mailroom. That's how we survived. He knew we were worthless, and we knew that he'd never give us a cent. So Mother never asked.
Is this true? Darn, Bernie, a confession like this could land you a spot on the View.
Sorry.
In that case, let's go on to the empire that was Ward Butts.
What do you mean was? We're rich, we got a bestseller.
You most certainly do. Rose, the Rose Spaghetti's torrid romance, Stevie Night and Nolans. The rest are stinkers.
But the sales of that one book are great, and they're good enough to bring a good profit for the losers.
For everyone but your author. Not a single royal check has been mailed out.
How do you know that?
I have my sources. Do you know why that payment was never made? Because Ward Books is heading for the dumpster. I found something that will interest the IRS very much. It seems someone has booked the company for over $5 million. Absconded with the funds.
Who?
Your attorney knows.
It wasn't me.
Then explain this.
How did you get that?
What is it?
Department of Surprise.
The personal letterhead of one Isaac Morrow, attorney at law. Jeannie was taking notes on it. Goodness. The letter mentions a debate over the fifth.
This is written on the day they broke up. And over the fist, I remember them having a conversation over the fist too.
You had an affair with Daddy?
That's just the start of what this note reveals. Why did you want to make a decision tomorrow? Tell him that $1.2 million had blown the coop? And how did you know about that? Because you'd taken it yourself? Was your affair with Artemis a way to gain access to his computer code so you could transfer it to a Swiss bank account number NCC101-D?
I refuse to discuss this absurd nonsense. I want to talk to my lawyer.
You are your lawyer.
Then I want to talk to myself.
It's a very cathartic experience.
You may as well come out with it, Isaac. You murdered him so he never put 2 + 2 together. You slunk in here when the lights went out and killed him, and slunk back upstairs and told everyone he was meeting with someone else first.
How was I supposed to have that little window of opportunity of darkness to go in and kill Artemis?
That's a good point, actually. That job will require 2. One to break up the curtain box, and one to put the knife in his back.
Then the murder was committed by 2 people.
You mean there was an accomplice?
That's it. I am cleared. The only people here with possible accomplices are the Ditzy twins and Reginald and Alexis.
Or Reginald and Isaac.
Of course, Alexis, if our murder had to be 2 personalities, they could be you.
Oh my god.
Well, Major, I guess you're right back where we started, buddy.
Major?
Don't even ask.
Wait, I know you. We've talked. I'm so used to your pen name though. Rose Spaghetti.
He's Rose Spaghetti?
The rescuer of Ward Books?
Until someone sucked the living juices from its bank accounts.
It's a social romance, and readers suspect a female author name.
Why didn't you just use Majorette?
Now I know your obsession with Ward Books.
And why you'd be so concerned with it going bankrupt.
And why you'd be so anxious to frame the man who's about to abscond with all the funds, including your royalties.
Allegedly abscond.
Yeah.
What? You want your daddy dead?
Come on now. We already answered this murder was done by 2 people. Who's my accomplice? Who would be so morally destitute as to help a reporter's favor as to commit a murder in a crowded restaurant? Come on. Oh.
Oh.
Well, what are you all in at?
Oh my
Sorry. Guys,
Okay, so, while we get all that sorted out, why don't you all, think about what you've seen so far, so that way, I can, say my job and such, Ward Books and all that. Hello? Thank you.
Scene 1, clues and alibis. There's nothing in the world like a persuasive speech to fondle the mental apparatus. Mark Twain.
A man is murdered not once, but twice. Once, one to kill him and one to ensure that the job was done. Not only that, but we also have managed to narrow our suspects down from 5 to 7. Alexis and Reginald seem like perfect candidates, however, in a dark room they'd more likely kill each other. You two have great synergies, but motive is not clear. Alexis and Isaac, however, But Reginald seemed genuinely surprised when he heard about Isaac's father the fifth. Now, Major had a good reason for doing it. Revenge. But that would require a partner, and I am just not that type of person.
So what are you saying?
You want me to go through all that again?
Just sum it up.
We have no idea what's going on. Maybe we should just call the police and have them handle it.
No. We already have most of the evidence. All we need to do is collect notes, get alibis. Think of how good in the papers it would appear that it says that you discovered who killed Artemis Ward before the police even arrived.
When you put it that way, why were you even here at the night?
Mother is never home, and I like a little company while I eat.
May anyone verify your whereabouts?
Jeannie went by once or twice.
Did you happen to see anything?
She was just giving me a Coke refill.
And then when the lights went out?
When the lights went out, nobody. It was too dark.
No, before that.
Let me think.
You!
Oh, well, let's see. I saw Alexis. She walked past me. She was carrying her car keys. Isaac was at the bar, by the kitchen, having a drink. The last I knew. And Reginald, well, a while before the lights went out, I saw him sitting with his sister in the front table in a side room, and they were arguing. Alexis walked past me, and I noticed that Reginald was gone. I figured that he went home. I was on my way to throw the switch on the circuit breaker. And when the lights came back on, that was when Isaac bumped into me and said someone had been murdered. I ran into the scene and found Bernie.
Tell me about your office.
Why? Was someone murdered there too?
Only the cleaning lady, apparently.
What?
I think they mean your office is a mess, Jeannie.
Why did you say so, Dr. Bullfinger? You almost gave me a corner. I have a very delicate institution.
The findings we found were quite interesting. We found a very flattened ham and cheese sandwich.
I wondered where I left that. Do you still want this, sir?
Always.
We then found some overturned trash cans, but unfortunately there was nothing but debris in them.
Alexis must have knocked it over. I saw her rooting around in the office earlier for some reason.
Okay, found 3 love letters, all written to Boo Boo. None of them finished.
She never finishes anything.
1 bouquet calendar. Half the dates have no charge stickers on them.
Sometimes I forget to prepare them, so I have to give the clients anything I've got on the house to keep their business.
Most interesting of all was a phone number to a hospital, which also had an extension number to the pharmacology office. You have a relative working there, don't you?
Oh no, I don't have any relatives working in agriculture.
Agriculture?
You know, farm ecology.
Farm ecology, PHARM, not FARM. What is wrong with you?
Oh no, my brother works there, but he just keeps the records. They don't let him touch the drugs. He wanted to become one of those pharmacists, but he never finished drug school.
Don't you dolls ever follow through with anything?
It's kind of a family trait, but their hearts are in the right place.
The Jids.
The good intentioned Dells. It's kind of a nickname we have here in this town.
You do know what the road to hell is paved with.
Asphalt and hot tar?
Let's go look for more clues.
Dr. Bullfinger.
What?
Could you tell us something?
Why did you want to run for coroner of all things?
Oh, that's a good job. Your clients never complain.
How does it feel to be the #1 pair of suspects? I'm surprised they don't wander off alone.
Suspecting a gold digger like you, I can understand. But why me? I look so guilty, I have to be innocent. I'm trying my hardest, depending on burning.
Whether she did it or not.
No need to hang Alexis. I can put her away. Bernie's a little harder. I just fire him. He can threaten to sue the whole company. Then again, from what I hear, I won't have business to worry about anymore, will I?
Hey, don't feel so bad. You'd be surprised how well you can do under bankruptcy with a good lawyer.
It's also amazing how long you can sit in jail with an embezzlement conviction.
I'm not confessing to any such crime.
Who said you were? But if you were, $5.2 million is enough to make 2 people retire very happily on the French Riviera.
But wait, what about your wife?
What kind of animal do you think I am? She'll take the house. We're a lot like you and I. Ruthless, efficient.
Are you saying we are made for each other?
When they made you, I stole the mold.
Okay, I think we can play the game. If I'm the one who embezzled the money, and if no one hangs the murder on us.
It'll never happen.
The I act too guilty to be guilty act doesn't stand very well under court.
I have an alibi. I was with Alexis. She's willing to admit it, of course.
The whole time?
Well, she started crying, and then we had an argument over the fit, and she started calling Dickinson. And that was just before the lights went out. Wait a minute. That was just before the lights went out.
Wait, no, that's fine. I saw her go to her car. There was no way she had enough time to go downstairs and kill Artemis. But you, however, had that little window of opportunity.
What about Major? She had plenty of motive.
And alibi. I called her office. Her assistant said that she was there until Dr. Bullfinger called her after the murder.
Still, she could have set it up. Could have gotten her lucky pathologist to be her hatchet man.
I don't think Tony Bullfinger, pathologist, neurologist, MD, DMD, MVP, whatever, would have enough sense to kill Artemis in the dark. They would have instead stabbed a bystander. Or a meatloaf.
What about you? Off alone at the bar, jigging like a fish, making up a tale about some held-up meeting and telling us Daddy called it?
He did.
Well, he said you did. Well, he say you specifically, he said someone did.
Well, all I know is that he sent me a letter in the mail this morning requesting a meeting. And I assumed it had something to do over the end of our affair. And I was going to tell him about the embezzlement. To be honest, I was actually going to blame it on you. And then I was going to fly to Zurich tonight and pick up my money first thing tomorrow. I have everything I need right here.
So that's why you've been dragging around that brown albatross all night, huh?
Brown albatross? This one, Birdie, is going to make me very happy.
Make us very happy, don't you mean?
I suppose our company is adequate. Quick, we have just enough time to call in the ticket before we have to meet the gang.
And this very night, our adventure begins.
Wait, assuming we're absolved of the murder.
Oh, will be. I mean, after all, we're not guilty, are we?
Of course not. We're too obvious.
Alexis, out of family descendants, you are by far the most fascinating and loved.
Can you believe this man? He threw wine at me! This is why I prefer living alone.
Yeah, tell me about that.
What would you like to know about that?
I'd like to know why you live alone.
Most people are afraid of my cooking.
How come?
Lumpy potatoes. And most of my husbands had narrow trenches.
You're a widow 5 times over.
4 times over. The last one went out one night and never returned.
But everyone who died did so at the dinner table. Wait a minute. How'd the last one survive?
Big Mac, fries, supersized drinks.
And no one investigated the 4 deaths?
They were accidental! Besides, Daddy never let the police order autopsies.
Where did he get so much power?
The police here are paid by taxes, and Daddy pays them those taxes. If he had other methods, I don't know them.
Who are you, Alexis Ward, Regent Middlefield, Abernathy, Gillicuddy, Boskowitz?
Who are you? Are you nobody too? Then there's a pair of us. Don't tell. They banish you. I'll dream to be something. Tell your name, your lifelong day.
Incredible. You know, I think you're a special lonely lady, waiting for a special lonely man. Where were you when the lights went out?
In my car.
Oh, right. Can you prove it?
Your lawyer friend found me there. Where were you, Rose Steamy Night Spaghetti?
I can make you very happy if I were ever to pay my royalties. What caused me will take another week to have enough evidence to take the embezzlement to the police. By then, Isaac could walk to another country. When Ward Books goes bankrupt, they won't be able to pay me a cent. I put 10 years of my life into that book, Alexis. And just like that, it's all over.
You can write more. You can get more money out of it. You know, second deliveries usually give you the most.
And what if I'm just a one-book wonder? Even if I'm not, and Ward Books survives the bankruptcy, how can I afford the advertising to make the next one fly?
There are other companies.
My contract requires me to give the next one to you. Do you think they did it?
Yes.
I mean Reginald and Isaac.
Yes, they did it.
You're not sure? Could it have been Bernie and Jeannie?
Yes, Bernie and Jeannie did do it.
A horseman? What about me and Dr. Bullfinger?
Guilty as charged.
It seems that only Alexis is innocent here.
Oh no, Alexis did it. Both of us.
Are you really insane or are you a genius? Sometimes I wonder. You know, I know more about you than anyone else in the world. I can help myself. Your marriages, your friends. I even know the exclusive store where you buy your clothes.
And I know where you buy yours. At Walmart, off the rack.
What does this game you play?
There's a poem that goes, "A wind sways the pines below, still as the Moses that glows over the lines, overhead, overhead, as the clouds chase, even we, even so."
That's not Emily Dickinson. That's George Meredith.
Even so, we have to join the others. You in your corner have to pick your next boogeyman.
Wait a minute. It's half your company now. Can you renegotiate my contract?
I'm just the acquisitions editor. With Daddy dead, Reginald will make contractual decisions. And with Father no longer here to protect me, he'll have me committed. Unless he's framed for murder. Which in that case, Bernie and his mother will commit me for him.
No matter how this works out, you'll lose your freedom. Doesn't that scare you?
Hospital halls are clean and antiseptic. We work polite and distant. It won't be so bad where I go.
Huh. I could fall in love with you, Alexis. Until dinner.
Scene 2, just desserts. We ought to never do wrong when people are looking. Yeah.
We have met success, and 2 more killers are off to jail. Oh, can you pull me on that?
You know the killer's beyond a doubt?
It wasn't easy. The evidence pointed to all of us, including me. But by the simple process of elimination, we were able to disqualify one suspect at a time until we were finally left with the killers.
Whom we ourselves will take to the police.
So, have you decided what the culprit is?
Patience, my dear friend. We must have the obvious institutionalization.
We knew the killers had to meet certain criteria. First, access to the murder weapons, namely the poison, known as digitoxin, and the knife, known as butcher. Anyone with a sense at all could find the butcher knife in a restaurant kitchen. So everyone had access there.
The digitoxin was a little bit hard to find since, it's only used for people who have heart ailments. So whoever had access to it had to either have an heart ailment or an in with pharmaceutical brands.
Did you find any prints on the glass?
No, only mine. But anyone who's read Agatha Christie would know to wipe off their fingerprints.
Second, there had to be 2 murders working in tandem. One to kill the lights, while the other waited to attack.
It was simple to rule ourselves out.
We knew we didn't do it. But here's the evidence. Dr. Bullfinger was in the dining room. That means they would have been the one to stab Mr. Ward, while I somehow slipped unnoticed into the kitchen. But as a pathologist, they would have known there was plenty of digitoxin in the glass. So why run risk by stabbing him? Also, if they known about the poison in the glass, why would they drink from the glass? As for me, I simply wasn't here. You, Isaac, called the newspaper's office and checked my alibi.
Then there was a group of 5.
2 people working together. Here's Alexis, a loner nobody trusts, whose own brother plans to send to an asylum. We might suspect the poison might be in her realm, but nothing so crude as a knife. Besides, we have the word of the 3 of you that just before the lights went out, she was going to her car. She was nowhere near the fuse or the victim.
I'm beginning to feel like a finalist from Beauty Pageant of Hell.
If it were you, went hands down. But I regret to say in this macabre contest, you're a runner-up. The winners are Bernie and Jeannie.
We're undone! But how did you know?
In the end, all the evidence points to you. Even though the idea of letting Reginald and Isaac go free revolts me, they simply didn't do it.
But wait, how did you rule us out?
Your location at the restaurant would have placed you with the fuse box, which is Reginald with the knife. I can easily imagine Reginald planning to kill him, even financing the killer. But to actually stab his own father, as cowardly and despicable an act that is, it would take more strength and character than Reginald has.
It's about time people figured that out.
But hold on, there is more.
Much to my sorrow. For instance, you're both sophisticated enough to know that the poison alone will kill Artemis Ward.
Then there was the problem of cooperation.
Yes, while snakes of a feather may slither together, these 2 serpents were under different rocks.
Their motives did not match. Reginald's motive was to take control of Ward Books. Isaac's was to destroy it.
Hence violation, Bernie and Jeannie.
Well, don't just stand there. Somebody give the winners their roses.
Where are the handcuffs? Despicable, despicable people. Yuck! Ew!
They have both had the easiest access. Who knew the restaurant better than Jeannie Dill? Sure, anyone could find the fuse box behind the kitchen, but Jeannie knew which switch to flip and how long it would take for Bernie to perform the deed.
Obviously, she had all the time in the world to poison the wine and access to the people to do it. Isn't that true, young lady?
But my brother isn't allowed to handle that.
Oh, but he is allowed to order it, isn't he? And then he could just simply make up a doctor and then have the medicine sent to that imaginary doctor's also imaginary address.
Well, why would she need darkness to poison a glass of wine?
She probably figured she could incriminate herself. She didn't see herself doing it.
The wine was poisoned before the lights went out. It was her lack of self-confidence that led to flipping the circuit breaker. Now, we've seen how amorous Bernie and Jeannie were tonight. It turns out the secret romance between Bernie and her boo-boo had been going on for months. Alexis and Reginald had both caught them for meeting trysts here at the manor, in the mailroom at Park, in the mailroom, everywhere.
You were watching all those times? You knew?
Subtly, thy name is not Bernie.
Why did you want it kept secret?
You know, my reputation. I couldn't have bared that rubbing off with Jeannie.
Looks like it didn't just rub off on her, cuz. It got bronzed on her.
But I didn't do it. I had no motive.
Sure you did. Your livelihood, your whole life was wrapped up in the matter. You couldn't bear the thought of Artemis turning into a warehouse for romance novels. The original appointment was with you, not Isaac.
Wow. You little minded beast. You made Bernie sign his boss's letterhead and to get me here, didn't you? What an irony. Old Art wasn't going to have the money to print more books. The manor would have been yours by default.
Thanks to you.
Meow, honey. Drink your milk.
Yes, Mr. Martin set up for a fall. Jeannie knew about the broken up affair, which Bernie no doubt told her about, and knew it would be accepted as a motive. After poisoning Artemis Ward, she suddenly feared she hadn't used enough to do him in. That's what she means about having done it and not done it. I'm sorry, Jeannie. You had plenty in there. You done it. Now, she imagined she was in a real mess. Attempted murder, now with the witness. She told Bernie to go flip the switch. She told Bernie, and afraid her lover would be found out, Bernie told her to go flip the switch. Perhaps she didn't even tell her why. And with darkness as a cover, she grabbed a knife and finished the deed.
I didn't know you would do an autopsy. I thought if you just found a knife wound, you would accept that as the cause of the crime.
You know, he was as good as dead when you stabbed him, so you'll be charged with mutilation of a corpse instead of, you know, manslaughter. You'll get off with parole because, as it turns out, you're not really a murderer.
Neither am I. I didn't do it. Yes, I planned to. I ordered the digitoxin, but when he came, I couldn't bring myself to kill him. I didn't even use the poison. I threw it away and told Bernie what I'd planned. I guess I was just so upset and confused that Bernie thought I'd gone through with it.
Come now, Jeannie. Artemis died of poisoning, not a knife wound. The autopsy proved it. Besides, we asked all the hired help. No one threw out the trash today. Jeannie, I'm sorry. You're no murderer in your heart. Yeah, not in your heart.
No, she is.
So everybody listen in the house.
All right, I see that now. I confess. You don't. Why? They know we did it. We may as well tell them.
All right, come along, you two. It's off to the police office.
Look on the bright side, Bernie. You can kill time by looking for a new job.
You're firing me?
I mean, I hate to let you go, old chump. With a criminal record like yours, how can I keep you on?
I think I murdered the wrong ward.
Don't feel too smug. I'm within days of having enough evidence to prove your embezzlement. Just in a week, you'll be behind bars. And you keep your hands off Alexis.
In a week, we'll both be in Switzerland.
Where we're going, Major can't touch us. A toast
Hey, that's mine.
to our innocence.
Give that back.
Oh, surely you do not begrudge a toast to finding old Daddy's killer?
It's mine. I've been holding it all day. It's warm, and you won't even like it.
Don't be a baby. You can always get more.
Give it back.
Hey.
Hey, shut up, you little fruitcake.
Word. To our innocence. To a woman in control of our situation.
Neighbor brother, 41.
Isn't it amazing what people would discuss in front of crazy people?
Now, shall we discuss that hot little place where Artemis awaits?
Maybe not.
I think you were looking for this. Hello, Bank of Surge. Yes, I'm calling about account number NC1701/D. Yes, that's right. It's for $5.2 million. I'd like you to have 100,000 of that cash ready for tomorrow. I'll get the new number from you. My password? Passion. Thank you. I know you do well. Hello? Mark, you won't believe what happened. Daddy was killed in Jeannie's restaurant. And they arrested Jeannie because they believed that she had committed the murder with Bernie. Oh, but it was all a mistake. It was all wrong. They were not the killers. It was Reginald and Isaac. Reginald confessed to me right before he killed himself with Isaac. He was afraid of dying with a guilty conscience, so he Yes, I'm calling for Isaac Morrow. Yes, I would like to change a name in a ticket. Yes, to reporter Major. Ah, you know who I'm talking about. Great. Can you tell her that he's from a secret admirer, and that the secret admirer promises to always eat out.
Thank you. I know you'll do well.
Suspects can always be so dirty. I hope you enjoyed your drinks.
Let's give a big hand to our cast.
Please.
Love you!
Love you too, baby.
I'd like to introduce you to each of our cast members. As I say your name, please step forward. Eric Garcia as Artemis Ward. Samantha Regalado as Bernie Jones. Sandro Frades as Isaac Morrow. Riley LaRue as Jeannie Dell. Jeanette Flores as Alexis Ward, Regent, Middlefield, Alabama. R.J. Kimian as Reginald Ward. Enrique Garcia as the ever-competent Dr. Wolfinger. Emily Torres as Major. Come on down, Trevor Camargo as our audience member. And I need Felix Lara coming out. Let's bring out Melody Lagula as our stage manager. Come on down, Yazaret Montenegro as our audience, our curtain person. They couldn't be with us this evening, but Galea Beltran, Ada Maurice Cuevas, and Rosie Garcia were all part of the set, along with Natasha Maldonado and Natalie Maldonado. Let's give them a hand. Trevor Camargo and Timothy Montoya. We had Sarah Humble as Dr. Bullfinger's understudy. Director Winter Gonzalez. And again, my name is Darla Elliott, and I thank you all for being here.
Ready? And
Ready? Go.
Come on now.